Four-Wheel Drive podcast powered by Tyre. We are back for an early morning session, boys. It's been a while since we've had a 6 a.m. start.
Yeah, it has been. I've literally just like, where's all my stuff?
Yeah, we're a little bit out of sorts. Headphones weren't working, couldn't hear anything. It's dark out. Oh, no, it's not dark. That's just tarped up.
It was dark.
It was dark when we got here. Music by the Southern River Band, Let It Ride, bringing us in once again, the Four-Wheel Drive podcast on Instagram. All our episodes over on BackChat. Patrons, thank you for your support. If you want to head on over to patreon.com/Four-Wheel Drive podcast, you get a little bit of extra content over there. And the fourwheeldrivepodcast.com.au is where you can get hold of the merch, which none of us are wearing today. Sorry, people. Send in your voice messages and the ultimate four-wheel drive. And just a little shout out to Tyrepower again, Australian-owned, independently operated, largest independent tyre retailer. Going to test you how many stores across WA, Ronny?
56.
58.
Oh, damn it.
It hasn't grown. It's always been 58. But I'm sure they will grow.
Well, hang on. There's two that haven't opened yet, so.
No, they haven't opened yet. That's for sure. How are we, gentlemen?
Yeah, good.
Good?
Good. Yep.
You've had 2 curried egg sandwiches on the way in, so I'm a little bit nervous around Farty Bum Dale.
but no Hut and Brew. They didn't have any.
Were they out of stock or?
No, I just didn't have any lactose free.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm lactose intolerant, so I mean, I could build up immunity to it, but I haven't for a while. So.
Yeah, not worth it, you would say.
Well, it's a bit risky. You're sitting there, so.
And now we can understand why you will always take with you a shovel and toilet paper on your camping trips. It's part of the 5 things you wouldn't go without.
Well, that's right.
There's
even one in the Prado.
Is there really?
Yeah. But I've got to assemble it. That's the only thing.
We're going to touch on the Prado just a little bit later on.
Okay.
This might be a quick fire episode here because starting at 6 a.m. in the morning, we all have our day jobs to go to. I mean, Jaden's day job is this, but This is kind of like extracurricular for Jaden doing the Four-Wheel Drive podcast. Like, this is his fun stuff, isn't it, Jaden?
Yeah, it is fun.
Yeah,
I do enjoy it.
You have fun with us, don't you?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So then he goes and sits on the boring stuff that BackChat do.
Yeah.
After this, all the talks to a few people who might be popular
interviewing
in sport
footy
or whatever,
players.
like that. Yeah. Anyway,
Couldn't think
this
of
is the
anything
fun
worse.
stuff for us too.
100%.
But we've got to get to our day jobs fairly soon. So
Yep.
we are going to touch on the Prado. I'm going to start with On the Radar. Now, that is coming from our man Alice over here. I like this one too.
You just call me Alice?
Yeah.
Alice.
It's his last name.
Ellis.
Ellis.
Oh, sorry, it's a Melbourne twang.
No, it's all right. Not a Melbourne twang, mate.
So
You're just trying to demean me. Call me a girl's name.
No, it's. I would say Jaden
rude.
Ellis.
You're going down a rabbit hole
Jaden
here,
Ellis.
mate.
All right. Yeah, give us this one because I actually found this very interesting.
Yeah, so Ineos Grenadier, or Ineos the company, have received an exemption for the Grenadier because it's deemed an off-road vehicle for the fitment of AEB, so autonomous emergency braking, which is the thing that will, like the system in your car that hits the brakes if it detects you're about to have a crash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which every
car has.
I'm unaware of a car that doesn't. Even the Cruiser's got it.
So it's a standard feature now.
I don't know if it hits the brakes, but it lets you know.
No, it will hit the brakes.
It will hit me, even mine.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
I didn't get to that stage, but it warned me.
Yeah. Well, apparently, so they applied for an exemption and, got it. So they don't have to have AEB in their cars. Apparently, it's not very popular.
It's pedestrians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
What's
not just pedestrians.
Not just pedestrians, but I'm pretty sure that the 70 is just pedestrians.
Yeah, not sure about the 70. If the 70 could be just pedestrians, but for most of them, it's cars as well as pedestrians. But the interesting thing about it is
This is crazy.
according to data from ANCAP, which is the safety organisation that does all the testing and all that kind of stuff for car safety, vehicle safety, the technology has been shown to reduce police-reported collisions by 55%, rear-end crashes by 40%, and occupant injuries by 28%. So it's a system that works.
Yeah.
Is as annoying as it probably could be for people when they're driving, or if it senses something that's probably not going to be a crash and brakes for you.
I feel like this technology is in place because of the mobile phone. Because how many times? Yeah, how many times you're sitting at a set of lights, and then you end up getting the amber light because dickhead in front of you is on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sometimes when you toot the horn, you can see like
you can almost play with people on their phone at the lights. Like, you know, when they're head down and you're sitting next to them and you can see them and you're like, oh, I know they're on their phone, and you just edge forward a little bit and they start moving because they think the traffic's flowing again. Like, not good to do, but like, it's a good wake up call for the person that's doing that, because
very funny.
Hopefully
Pay attention while you're in a
they don't hit the
2-ton
person in front of them. But so that, I find that really interesting that Ineos went after that.
Yeah, that applied for the exemption.
They found it such a big deal that they wanted to remove that from the car. And were they having issues with it four-wheel driving out off-road? Like,
I don't think there's been issues with it.
Nah.
They might have had off-road issues with it, as
It's
like, it just might
not
be one of those
sensors
things.
going
but
off. And
they do have it in all their other cars in the European market. So all the Grenadiers in the European market have got it. It's just the Australian market that they've decided not to put it in.
But they haven't had it in the previous version either. But there's also some. That's not the only thing though. So I think whoever's like, they're targeting the safety aspect of what they're getting an exemption for, which I guess it is. But I think they cherry picked that because there'll be other things that in that exemption as well. For example, there's don't quote me on this, but I feel like that with the dual cab at least, you can get an exemption on luxury tax because it's...
Yeah, they do have the exemption on the luxury tax
actually,
because it's an off-road vehicle.
On both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the wagon as well.
Yeah. Neither Grenadiers have the luxury tax on them.
Okay.
And
despite being expensive.
Yeah. And there's a couple other things as well. Yeah.
Anyway, I just found that bizarre that they, just in this day and age, that they would move away from it. I don't think it's going to stop anyone buying.
I think they they just haven't moved into it.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Well, it's just interesting because that's where everyone going, and safety is becoming the major. Like a major. It's always been a major player, but the technology is so advanced now in the cars that.
Yeah.
Like that, I find that weird.
Yeah. I don't really like that feature in the Prado. Like when I'm reversing close to, I want to get right up to the bin, you know, at my unit, and what I will do is still with like a foot to go because I like to get it like right up.
Yeah. Because
it's really tight there. It just hits the brake.
Oh, right. So it does it to you then.
Yep.
Okay.
In reversing into, we had this holiday house down south. I was reversing into the garage and I had to tell everyone, can you just go inside because I can't reverse. Because even like a metre or 2 meters, they're just standing in a doorway. They're not even in the garage.
Yeah, right.
And it picks up the shape of a person and just goes...
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Yeah, right.
And that would be reversing up to the trailer, the caravan I towed the other day.
Yeah.
That was fucking pain in the ass.
Is it doing it then?
Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. It was beeping constantly as well. There's a way to turn it off. I was watching this guy on YouTube who's got a 300 to show how to turn it off. It doesn't work in a Prado.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. There's pros and cons for everything.
Oh, yeah. There's pros
the one
and
time
cons.
it saves you from hitting that person, that's when it's going to be worth it, I would have thought.
Oh, yeah.
The Ineos
yeah.
won't have that.
100%. But, yeah, I don't think it's something that people should rely on.
Yes, no, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. That's what I'm learning at the moment. Using mirrors again. Because I've got no reverse camera in the 79. Jeez.
Hey, mate, welcome back.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome
Have
back.
you not got one in yours?
No.
You would find it hard.
Mate, I have roll-up windows, no central locking.
Well, yeah, just like my trophy.
So,
Good old days.
it's another conversation for another day, that one. Can of worms.
The car, you can lock your keys inside.
Yeah, have done that plenty of times. Plenty of times.
Have you got something else for us here?
Oh, no. What do you...
Looks like you do.
Mate, what do you look?
Collisions avoided by vehicle age group.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I forgot you boys could see this. I was just having a look at stuff. No, this is a
Jeez, mate, what's in your
study.
search history there?
New model vehicle cars.
That's not good.
2024 were twice as likely to avoid a collision as older model vehicles, so 2017 to 18 in the study, when tested at speeds from 12 to 35 miles per hour. So it must be an American study.
Right.
From the AAA.
35 miles per hour,
Yes.
so about
So at 35 miles per hour, the 2024 car avoided the collision 100% of the time. The 2017 to 18 model avoided the collision 33% of the time with AEB. 25 miles, 100% for the 2024, 47% for 2017 to 18, 100% on 12 miles per hour, and 73% for 2017 to 18.
Interesting.
So you can see the current safety standards are kind of doing their job.
Yeah.
Working.
Yeah.
At least according to this study.
The thing
Obviously
is,
haven't
though,
looked further into that, but
yeah, the thing is, though, if you were to show a graph on like airbags and stuff, you would look at the 70, and it's got 2 airbags. So it's a bit like that conversation we had last week. So depending on how you look at it and the situation and the scenario, what's the car going to be used for? I think around the city, 100%, it's a bloody good idea, because the amount of times, like, 6 a.m. in the morning, driving to work, Groundhog Day, doing the same thing every day on the freeway. I remember those days. There's been plenty of times where it was like, oh shit, you nearly hit the car in front because you're in a daydream, or the guy in front doesn't move, but you start to move because the rest of the traffic's moving, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I think, for this, there's got to be some leeway for four-wheel drives, vehicles you're going to use off-road. For example, if every car had to have that and everyone went up in arms about it, well, then they'll start going about the airbags as well. And then all of a sudden you can't have a 70 anymore because they literally cannot fit curtain airbags in them.
Yeah.
There is no room. They'd have to redesign them. And at that point, they'll go, nah, not making them anymore. So that's where things are going to get taken away. So, yeah, in some circumstances, of course. Others, it is what it is.
Yep.
We could all wrap ourselves up in cotton wool.
yeah, it's a good point.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, I know what you're saying. All right.
Well,
Safety. You got to talk about it. Not that fun, not that
such
sexy.
a boring thing to talk about.
But
Next
anyway.
thing you know, we'll have to wear a hard hat because that light looks very dangerous.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hanging above. That's a good point.
We need to adjust it. Should we get a
I
Sparky
think
to
you've got
adjust
the
it?
good one. Look at the structure that's set up on. Look at my dodgy thing hanging over my head. Tough dog tip of the week. What do you got for us, Ronny D?
Oh shit!
Yeah. It jumps up on you, mate.
It does. Right, what have I got this week?
Oh, maybe a safety tip.
Let's do seating position. Yeah, we can kind of do that. Let's do seating position in your vehicle. So we have a window.
Like this.
We have the visors.
Having some trouble with it myself at the moment.
Well, if you're driving around with your visor and let's say you're in the dunes, you're somewhere where, on the sand even, because when you just touch those brakes in the sand, things stop pretty quick, like very quick, which I learned the hard way. I'll get to that one later. But you've got a sun visor and it's kind of down and you're sort of leaning around looking and you hit the brakes. Well, you could kind of hit your head. It's a bit like an egg opener. So imagine your egg in your little cup if you still do that. Slice it with a knife. That's kind of what's going to happen there.
Take your hair
Not to
off.
that degree, but
Yeah.
but there is metal in them. With the window, especially when you're rocking around like this, and this has got me a couple of times actually. So this is from personal experience. I haven't had the egg thing as much. I have been sort of just skinned once, but a passenger has before.
Yeah.
With the windows though, I'd wait till you take the 70 off road in. Have you been to a beach yet? Been
No.
to like a. Okay.
No.
You wait till that happens. Lucky you got nice broad footy shoulders, so you'll be right.
The toids.
Yeah, the toids, you call them.
toids.
The deltoids. Is that what you call them?
Oh, I've never called them in
Classic.
my life until today. So
I thought, yeah.
that's
Heard
what
you
think.
call them that before.
That's
mate.
what, that's
Not that
what
I have
happens
massive
before the
ones,
cameras go on. Just weird words coming out, starting to warm up the mouths. But with the window and with the 70, or any car really, with the window, you kind of get rocking around like this. So imagine your window is halfway down.
Oh, yeah,
Bang.
gotcha.
And that freaking hurts, man.
You've done that.
Yeah, I've done that because sometimes you're looking around and all of a sudden the car sort of drops that way and then bang, it comes up.
So what's the
Either window
all the way up?
or all the way down,
Okay.
or at least quite far down.
Got to be careful on the sand though, because you flick it all
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
As soon as the
you do. Or
wheels
like
turn.
a puddle's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're better off with a winding window when a puddle comes up because you can like really reef it.
Yeah. Yeah, true. On the Ranger, the windows are slowed right down. But not to whoever wants to buy it.
No,
they're fine.
Yeah.
So-
Perfect condition.
So that's not my tip over here. Seating position is quite important off-road as well. Like to have it in a spot so no matter where you end up sliding in your seat, you can still reach all the pedals.
Yep.
So some people like to drive on the highway to have the seat as far back as they can so they've got a stiff arm on the steering wheel. I tend to not do that because if you do have a collision, you're definitely going to compact fracture
Yeah.
your
There's not
bones.
much control when you're out like that too, I feel.
And you'll break your wrists as well.
Yeah.
So you got to like have sort of like loose arms. It's got to be quite close to the steering wheel. So same with off road, because sometimes you can get twisted and moved around a bit. And I remember one incident. This didn't involve a seatbelt, obviously, because he got flung from his driver's seat to the passenger seat. I won't mention any names here, but it was going through a bog hole. We were in low range, so he just got out of the car. He just jumped back in, and then next minute he goes in, and then whoosh, car goes like that, and then where is he? He's not even the driver. He's in the passenger seat.
Jesus.
Like this going, well, that didn't go well. In a manual 70, so it just stalled, right?
Yeah.
So you could probably read between the lines to figure out who that was. But anyway, yeah. And then the other thing, which is really important, with four-wheel drives and traveling, we like to load the car right up. So tools underneath the seats, maybe a first aid kit, shit gets thrown around in the car as well. Drink bottles might be rolling around. You just shove that under your seat or whatever. You kind of don't want that, especially if you go downhill. So full driving being a lot more extreme on the terrain, rather than just your general hill on the road like this, we can end up in situations like this where things that don't normally slide, even under braking on the road, well, now they're going to come down all of a sudden. And especially a big heavy tool bag. People like to have tools under their seats, which you can. You just got to make sure it's so big that it cannot get out. Yeah. Or Velcro it or something. Because if that goes down and under your pedals, you're kind of screwed. Yeah. And then you're leaning forward and usually your seatbelt locks in when you're on those angles.
Yes, you can't
so you cannot reach anything.
That's a good point. I'm struggling in the 70 at the moment to so when I hop in the morning and I sit up I'm fresh, ready to go, and I sit up sort of nice and straight and I want to drive, and then I feel like I'm a bit far away. So then I sort of my position I feel is good, but I want to sit up straight and nice and then I need to just
so you're slouching
because if I bring the seat in, I'm too close.
Okay.
It's perfect for my feet. But when I go back and I sit up nice and tall, I've got to just get a little slump in the back to get my legs in the right spot, mainly to clutch.
You got short legs, do you?
Well, I've got long legs. I can't. But my back's getting a little bit sore.
He's not used to clutching yet.
I'm not. Yeah. Nah. Geez, my left quad.
You're more legs than torso.
I'm got long legs. Yeah, no torso. Short and fat torso.
Interesting. I'm more torso than legs.
Yeah.
It's funny, hey, because I didn't realise this until I got the seats put in the troopy in the back.
Yeah.
It was a bloke there. He was much taller than me, quite a bit taller.
Yeah.
You're probably used to that height around the footy club and that.
Yeah.
But I was when I sit in the back seat, my head's kind of touching. He's like, that's really odd. It doesn't for me. And then he hopped in the car and showed me he had an extra 2 inches of space. He's just taller
my
than
brother
me.
would be 6 or 7 centimeters taller than me, I reckon. But my my hips are higher than his. He's more torso.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's weird. Different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
So that even more important you figure out your seating position.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, figure out.
I like that because I was actually genuinely, I didn't tell you about that at all, and I was genuinely having trouble with where my seat because my back's going.
Yeah.
I haven't even done 1,000 Ks in it.
Yeah, okay.
And I was telling Lauren last night on the way home from dinner, geez, my back's a bit sore. How's yours going? She's like, I could fall asleep right now. So she was loving it. So
she doesn't have to reach the clutch, mate.
No, that's true. That's true.
Everyone's got interesting seating positions, like Jono's seating position. It's like
the best thing
when
is
you used to have the FJ. It's just like this.
Yeah.
And you open the door, you look at him. He's like, you're in a fucking lounge chair, mate.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was like young, growing up. So the boys that are a few years older than us getting their license, like it might have been like my mate's older brothers, and they're getting their licenses and stuff like that, and they're buying all these Commodores, and they would literally be like, you wouldn't see them through the front window. Their heads would be in the back window. They were sitting so far back and so low. They were down here like this. I don't know how they were getting around, but they just wanted to look cool driving around. I'll never forget it.
It's a bit like those motorboxes, isn't it?
Yeah, the ape hangers on it. Oh, funny stuff. Anyway, good Tough Dog tip of the week. Thanks, Tough Dog. Thanks, Ronny. Ultimate four-wheel drive. We're moving through today. There's no mucking around. Jaden, you or me this week? I think you should have a go.
Okay.
At Ultimate four-wheel drive. I feel like I've been hogging it.
No, I feel like you've been doing a great job.
Oh,
so there's
thanks,
no need for me to do anything.
Oh, you don't want it?
No, mate, feel free to take it.
All right. I will then.
It's going to be a hard act to follow from last week's.
Yeah, it is.
Remind me on last week's again.
That was a Hilux.
Yeah, the nice. Yeah, the very, very nicely done.
That to
the simple yet very effective for the purpose.
Visually, without knowing the story,
quite basic.
It's hard to grasp it. It wasn't very. I mean, if it was all closed up, you couldn't see anything.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
But there was so much more to it.
I think we've had quite a good run of
Ultimate four-wheel drives.
We haven't really had one that isn't an Ultimate four-wheel drive.
Like
an Ultimate.
We said that at the start.
Haven't had a Lada Niva yet. Until we get a Lada Niva.
I feel bad for the person.
I still think a Lada Niva could be an Ultimate four-wheel drive.
I feel like they're one of those things. I feel bad for the person the first one that goes downhill for us. Anyway, it's not going to be Charlie Phelan, who sent in his Ford Ranger. Spending budget was $10,000. Purpose weekend warrior. 3 things he loves: comfort, looks, and how it drives. 3 things he doesn't like: not loud enough, too low to the ground, and could have been a Toyota. I like the honesty around around the 3 things he doesn't like. Anything else we should know? She has been through some tough times up in the Vic High Country, going through some tracks not suitable for a stock vehicle, but yet she survived close calls on that trip. Can't wait to show you guys once she's a bit dressed up. Cheers. So, Jaden.
Do you have a look at some photos?
Should we have? Oh, nice. Little bit of photography.
Nice photography, yeah.
Oh, so, yeah, righto.
Oh, can you zoom in a bit more? Wow. So, he's using a decent camera.
Here we go. Ronny, this is Ultimate four-wheel drive.
Ultimate camera.
Ultimate lens.
Oh, I know, but like it doesn't look too grainy.
Photo guys going off here,
knows
Charlie.
What he's doing. Yeah. Well, so what does he use the car for?
Purpose was weekend warrior.
Yep. Well, there you go. It just shows you don't need much to get out there. He loves his photography.
Loves his photography.
So he hasn't done it up just yet.
No, he's got the lights. He's got the wheels. I think he's done the tyres already by the looks.
Yeah. Bar on the front.
Bar on the front. And then just simple, kept the tray open.
It's the FX4, so it's sort of between an XLT and a Wild Track sort of spec.
You know, there's something appealing about just having a car that doesn't have much on it. It's sometimes you feel quite free, especially the fact that you can pull up in, you know, because I remember when I had the Hilux that had nothing on it, and I'm pulling into camp, and there's the 79 with the canopy and the rooftop tent and all that going on, but all I've got is empty tray and a swag, couple of lights,
there is
gas cooker.
There's something about, like, that's how the Ranger was by the end, but my one. And it is nice because there's just no, like, you're not constricted to a certain thing or a way of doing things. Like, you've got the full open tub ready to go to use it for whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Whether you might be, like, I'm going a bit further out here, but you might be the support car on a big trip that just carries the fuel, and someone else has got your cooking stuff and your swag in their car, and you're like, you can do that. You can throw dogs in the back of that. You can throw your camping gear like a normal trip. You can throw firewood in there. Like, you're so...
Yeah, the firewood run.
You're so open to everything with just a tub like that. And obviously it's taken him to the Vic High Country. He's going to dress it up a little bit, which I'd be keen to see, because it's basic. That's a very basic Ultimate four-wheel drive. But for Charlie, that's his Ultimate four-wheel drive, which we've always said it's not our Ultimate four-wheel drive, it's his.
Yeah.
But it's Yeah, there is something about having just the most basic setup where you're open to anything.
Yep, 100%.
I reckon that is not. It's free, like you say.
Yeah, it's just free. The only time it becomes a bit like, we should have a bit more comfort or a bit more of this, bit more of that, or a bit more of a setup. That's when you go for, say, a week or something.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, it's all right, I'm over this now.
Yeah.
I kind of want something else that's enclosed.
Yeah.
I'm sick of dealing with this dust now.
Definitely.
But just for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
So I actually wouldn't do too much more to a car if I was only going to use it for
the weekend.
For that, because otherwise you're restricting your normal day life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, good point. I am keen to see it dressed up a little bit.
Be
Though.
interesting to know what his plans are for it.
Yeah, and then see, obviously he's using a decent camera, so
Yeah.
dress it up, get some decent photos out in the bush.
I'm gonna take a wild guess, and I'm just gonna guess he's gonna put some kind of lithium battery system in it, charge his camera gear,
Yeah, good point.
and he might put a hard lid on it to keep maybe his tripods out of the elements.
Would be a good idea.
I don't mind you thinking
Yeah, it
there.
would be a good idea.
Unless they're on the back seat, of course, which you probably prefer to have your camera gear there. Smashing around the back's not always cool.
Get some Pelican cases.
Yeah, sometimes they're a pain in the ass, though.
Always.
Pelican cases.
Too many clips.
Is this photo stuff you guys are talking about?
Yeah, the big I used to travel with Pelican cases, and the worst ones are the ones with the clips on the side. Like, it's a good idea at a time because they're never going to get destroyed, but it's just like you got to get that one to get that one, and other stuff's in this one. And anyway, that's just a photographer.
Yeah,
Pick that up another day, fellas.
That's just Pelican chat, mate.
Pelican chat.
Pelican
Righto,
chat.
thanks, Charlie. That was that's.
Yeah,
I'm
Pelican.
only going to get these guys back on track here. Really quickly, because you're running out of time, and so am I.
Yes.
Prado towing video on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
How'd it go? Thoughts, feelings? I know you've explained it all in the video, which people should go and have a look at because it's quite interesting. But biggest takeaways from that one?
Biggest takeaway is the fact that it tows so freaking well when it take off and stopping that vehicle. Stopping that vehicle is unbelievable. Yeah, it did a pretty damn good job, but the suspension is not made for it. Definitely not made for it, and
You fell down when you hooked it up, like
yeah. But not just that, but that's like an early warning, and then when you're hitting the bumps and stuff.
Yeah, that was quite funny. That camera angle that you got, or that shot where it was like really up and down, you couldn't have got a better example of what you were explaining at the time.
Yeah, and it just kept going. That's the thing.
How did you stop that?
It eventually,
or the road just sort of sorted it out. Yeah.
It eventually took it out of it. Like, had that been, say, I don't know, like a solid axle older vehicle, that would have been downright dangerous probably.
Yeah.
But because this thing's it's pretty stable, right? Yeah. So it didn't move to the sides or anything. The 76 moved more to the sides.
It was just
but it handled the weight. But this one, it just went just kept doing this thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, apart from that, it's great, but it sucks. In towing. You can't put much in. If you did put the maximum caravan size on it, which would be a dumb thing to do anyway, you should never put a caravan that weighs more than a car.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, what you're towing should be ideally 30% lighter than the towing vehicle itself.
Okay.
But equal weight is probably where I would draw the line.
Yep.
But having something that's heavier than the car, it would be like a ton more than the car. Think about it. It's pretty hard to control that.
Yeah. So what's the Prado? What's the weight on the Prado?
It's 2.6.
And what was that caravan?
That one was 2. We had to load it up a bit with water and stuff. So that was 2. It's 2.8-ish.
Right. Yep.
It's like on the low side of the 2.8.
Yep.
Yeah. So the last one we towed was more to the 2.9.
Yeah. Okay.
It was on the low side of 2.9. Yeah.
Yeah.
So 100 kilo difference.
The Prado can definitely do it, but you're saying there's no chance you're loading up that vehicle.
Not legally.
Yeah.
Even if you did a GVM, you can't increase the GCM. Although I heard, so Harry verified fork here, let me know I think there was one company that has just been approved for that.
Right.
But to get that approval is like insane what they have to do. And no one else is really going to bother doing it. And you wouldn't...
And they're going to charge an arm and a leg for that now.
Yeah, but why would you bother doing it?
Yeah.
You know, like it's the wrong car to get for those things. Yeah. You get a 70 or a big patrol or something instead, you know, for towing or a big one of those American trucks, you know. They make more sense because they're heavier. Yeah, they're more thirsty, but when they tow, they don't burn that much more. Actually, hang on. That 2.8 only burned 15.3 litres per 2 to 100.
Really?
Yeah, towing that van.
Wow.
Yeah. So something's happened since the towing. I've got bigger tyres, got some wheels. We'll leave that for another time.
Yep.
But I'm noticing my fuel figures aren't the greatest, but I was off-road mostly yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, right. So all in all, Prado, because we do have to keep moving through this and go and check the channel out, your channel out over on... it's just Ronny Dahl, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was going to say it's just on Ronny Dahl.
Yeah. It was a pretty in-depth... it was very, very in-depth. One thing I did get wrong, which I didn't quite realise, was always was under the impression that curb weight was the tear weight of a car. And when I have discussions with people about GVMs and stuff like that, suspension people, we always refer to curb weight, and we still got to add the fuel, we still got to add this. But curb weight, so I'll stand to be corrected. That curb weight, that's a car that's ready to go with all the fluids in it.
Right.
So AdBlue topped up, fuel topped up. So I was probably 100 kilos out.
Right.
But even just that 100 kilos, that's going to get... how hard is it to load 100 kilos in your car with little things as well, you know?
Yep.
Everything adds up in weight. So, 100 kilos out on my calculations, still, you're going to overweight that car so fast. And I was being generous on the bull bar weight, the roof rack weight. We're driving around with an empty roof rack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, it's not the smartest car to get if you're going to load it right up.
That's good to know. I'm happy with that. Really quick, but like I said, you can go and see Ronny's channel and have a look at that. Full test numbers. It's all there. Go and have a look. We need to go to around the fire pit, please, Jaden.
Righto, this is Pop here. Just wanted to run a couple of mapping solutions through here. I've got the HEMA HX2 is one of my mapping solutions. It's not that it is a good program, but not that crash out because of its bulky size. Got to put it on a mount, etc., on the roof or wherever you want to. Not very good at actually planning a trip. As well as that, the GPS side of it takes a bit to hook up, and also it very hard to plan a trip with it.
Interesting. Yeah, with those devices, if you're not like device savvy, you got to kind of know how all these things work. They always work different than what you used to. You might have an Apple phone, and if it's an Android system like most of these things are, they're a pain in the ass because I'm an Apple person and I can't figure out sometimes the Android. It's, you got the... Was it like those Squid Game signals it's got on it? Symbols? Square, circle, and triangle, so that is one aspect of it. But the more you use it, the more you get used to it. But what I would stress here is don't rely on it. Never rely on that thing. These things can be glitchy. They can also fail. You're better off just getting used to paper maps. On a paper map, you can have the whole thing splayed out and you can actually plan your trip. So you can just just get two of the same copies if you're that inclined, and then you can literally write on one of them, and then you've got the other one in case you've smudged something over, some writing or some detail that you need. And you've got your plan here, and then you've got your other map here. So you can base yourself on those two maps. How to get used to using maps? If you're in a mountainous area, or if you're in a flat area, it's not that easy. But if you're in an area that's kind of relatively flat, but has some rises and some wells perhaps, and they're far and few between. Like WA is pretty good, SA is pretty good for learning how to read maps, I find, because you'll see like a big plateau somewhere, that'll be marked on your map, and then if you stop and you take a look, you can kind of get used to what you're looking at on the map and what you're seeing on the horizon. And I think that is the best way to learn, as in like a layman's terms way of learning. And then from there, you'll get used to seeing stuff on your little GPS. So the thing is with these GPSs, you've only got this tiny screen. And you could get an iPad screen or something, or like a pad that's a lot bigger, but from what you're saying, it's too bulky already for you. So yeah, I would just stop regularly and then refer to the paper map and then refer to your GPS. That's probably the best way you get used to it. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it, the less you have to stop. And you're just going to have more awareness of where you actually are, but you've just got to do it more.
I found I get emails from HEMA because I must have signed up to something years ago. I don't have the HEMA unit or anything like that. I've got the app on my phone. But I feel like they offered training or like sort of courses online.
They do,
and
yeah.
I found it. I've clicked on it, online training, and it takes you to a page that says, "Oops, we've been bogged." So I think the page does not exist currently.
Page has gone
but
down.
maybe they're working on that. But there are some. I've definitely seen the emails before about there are ways to learn if you are struggling with how to actually operate.
Yeah. And it also depends on how you learn best as well. Some people are more visual.
Yeah.
Some people are more told.
Yeah.
Other people can read a manual. I kind of prefer a bit of both.
Yep.
Reading a manual sometimes it gives me more of like a 2D thinking process happening. You know,
I get what you mean.
There's not enough there.
Yep.
You know, you're just sort of like it doesn't allow me to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Yep. I get that.
Yeah.
Hey boys, Josh here again from across the ditch. Just like to say for starters, Duggo and Jay, and thank you so much for your advice a few episodes ago regarding camping showers. Got the on-tap system already as my primary water tank, so I may give that a try to see if that might fit the bill. Just one question for all you boys. I see now from a lot of the four-wheel drive shows, a lot of the portable power stations like the EcoFlow Delta 2 or the Blue Eddies are starting to come out now, which it's actually just made me wondering, do you reckon some of those new portable 12-volt systems that are coming out, would they be potentially the way to go moving forward versus getting, say, a hardwired system in? Only reason I'm thinking it is because I've got a basic system in mind at the moment, which is doing the job, but I know once you install them, sometimes they can get a bit bulky, and especially in wagon space is everything. So I'm looking at these portable systems going, well, that might be the way moving forward. So just want to get your boys' thoughts on it. And also, congratulations on your purchase of your 79, Duggo. I sat in one the other day, which was definitely nice. They definitely are a lot more comfier than the older ones. But I think the one thing you need to change, though, is you definitely need to try to see if you can put the old bonnet on. Like, the 79 just doesn't look right without the iconic bonnet scoop. But anyway, boys, keep it up. Hooroo.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, Josh, the power boxes. So
I'm actually keen to hear about this. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it is the way moving forward. But there are some big drawbacks on some of these, and no one has rectified it yet. So hopefully, someone who's developing something like this will have a good listen. Because these are the reasons why I didn't go down that path. So I have had Blue Eddy reach out to me in the past, and I had a look at his specs, but there was one thing that stood out. Now, I will get to that. I think it is the way moving forward for most people. If you're setting up at, like I say, a troopy or something, and you want to travel around Australia, that's where I would hardwire it more. But weekend warriors, or even if you like to travel like big trips, but you don't want things to be completely set up all the time, Powerbox is easy to go. I mean, I've got something that's kind of in between. So in the back of my 76, and I kind of prefer rolling that way now rather than having something permanently fixed somewhere. my battery box just sits there. It's strapped down. It's safe, secure. If I need to get to it, I can pull it out if I want to. Like I could literally take the fridge out and my battery box, which is 135 amp hours, and maybe bring it closer to the solar if I really needed to. If I was going to base camp for a week, which I'm not that style of camper, but if I was, I would actually 100% pull that battery out and use it outside. That'll be awesome, because when you're camping, you're not in the vehicle, you're outside the vehicle. So with these systems that you're talking about, you will be able to do that, and it'll actually be more usable to you as well, because the systems that Josh was talking about, they've got AC power, they've got everything in that same unit, and you can put add-ons to it. So you can actually expand the battery pack, which is a really cool idea as well.
I like these.
So you're not paying for all the wiring and all that, but here's the problem with them. So which one are you looking at?
This is what I've got up right now. Blue Eddy.
Oh, yeah. So the main issue with that one is the charging. It charges either 5 amps from a charger at home on AC, 5 amps, or 8 amps from solar. Yeah. That's the shit part about it.
Really?
Yeah. So when you think about it, you got companies that are making DC-DC chargers minimum 25 amps they're throwing into these batteries, right? Some are doing 40, some are doing 50, and that's what you need, because if you like 8 amps, that's not much solar power at all. You know, you couldn't even put. It doesn't warrant putting 200 watts or 300 watts of solar power on anything, because it's not going to get the charge into that system.
Yeah.
So I was trying to figure out what's the maximum way I could get a charge out of that. Well, if I ran an inverter, then I could charge it via AC, and then I could charge solar at the same time. It just didn't make any sense, right? So the problem with that system, you could use it 100%, but you would have to take it home and then trickle charge it.
Right.
Take your time to charge it up at home. You cannot charge it on the fly and run, say, a fridge and your camping lights and XYZ, because the whole day of driving, it's not going to charge the battery up sufficiently enough. It's a long trickle charge.
Yeah. It's a cool unit though. Like what
it's a cool unit. They make some cool. There's lots of them out there, but all of them have the same issue.
Right.
Some only do 12 amps of charging. It's just, it's weird. It's like, they're not designed for four-wheel drivers. They're designed for people who head out in a boat for a day. People who go, they might go camping for a couple of days, a couple of nights. They don't have all these other things with them.
Yep.
But the cool thing about these, it has everything else except for the means of charging it at a sufficient rate. And that is the problem with most of them.
Yep. Okay. That's good. I think that's a great answer for Josh, because I actually genuinely, I don't know much about these. So I've always just stuck to the old way of just mounting a battery, DC-DC, and
so there is an in-between way, which would actually be cheaper than, it's kind of cheaper than that, but also cheaper than wiring out your whole car. So wire out a whole car, like you could look at upwards of 15 grand. You got the gear, you got the sparky, all the labour, it adds up, man.
Yep.
It adds up fast. But if you do it the way that kind of I've done it, is just have that, I've just got this battery box, you can get them at BCF.
Yep.
Yeah, just a hardcore battery box. But with a 135 amp hour battery.
Yep.
It's lasted through the heat of the gun barrel. It's lasted quite a while. It's gone for a year. It's used 38 charges. Let's just say 40 now, because I haven't checked it. 40 cycles out of 5,000 cycles. I've had it for a year. It's going to last me until I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And that, inexpensive.
I think that's
bugger all wiring. The only thing you do have to do is have a cable going from the front to the back. And that's the only thing you need permanently that charges your battery.
Yep.
You're set.
So it operates the same as what mine would have in the Ranger. Yeah. It's just that the battery's inside the box and all of the outlets are on the box.
Yep.
Couple of options for Josh there. I think quite good. Something to think about.
Those things you just showed us, they look epic.
Yeah,
they
I like
look
them.
Sleek. They look futuristic.
Who doing? Blue Eddy?
Lots of people doing Blue Eddy, iTech World. I haven't seen any from Hardcore. I think
What are they called?
Red Arc did one. But
Red Arc have got one, do they?
Yeah, but it didn't have AC. It didn't have like an inverter in it.
Right.
So that's the thing. Some have this, some have that. Yeah. There are heaps out there, but most of them, if not all of them, will have the charging issue.
Yeah, okay.
And I wonder why that is.
That's a question for another day because I cannot answer that.
Maybe it's the way to pack the battery cells. They can't absorb such a big charge, or
Jesus,
what is it?
Found some heavily priced
Yeah.
bits and pieces on one page. Anyway, won't go there. Yeah.
So what happens when you're shopping for a 70, mate?
Yeah.
Do we need to wrap this up?
Now go one more voice message and that's us.
All right, last one.
Hey guys, Michael here. Love the podcast. Long time listener, first time caller. Just wanted to say, can someone explain to Ronny that a monotube and a twin wall shock is a different thing, and that monotube doesn't mean not remote res? I'm sick of him getting it wrong, and it's grinding my gears. Thanks, guys. Love the show.
I don't listen to these before I press the button, by the way.
Here's the
No,
mic.
that's fine. That's cool. So, yeah. Can you just play that again? Just want to hear.
Hey guys, Michael here. Love the podcast. Long time listener, first time caller. Just wanted to say, can someone explain to Ronny that a monotube and a twin wall shock is a different thing, and that monotube doesn't mean not remote res? I'm sick of him getting it wrong, and it's grinding my gears. Thanks, guys. Love the show.
I've been trying to tell him, Michael.
Yeah.
Twin wall.
Yeah, we've been talking to him for ages.
I don't understand any of that shit.
Yeah. I'm not a suspension guy, but twin wall, it's actually the first time I've heard that.
Twin wall
shock.
I'm just going to start typing in that too, so it looks like I'm doing
Yeah,
that.
no, good.
Twin wall, yeah, just find out for you then, Michael.
Tube.
Twin wall roofing options.
Okay.
You're a man who knows.
So I am now assuming that you could get a monotube or a twin wall shock that is remote res maybe, or monotube. See, monotube I just thought was like a, yeah. Anyway, I'll look that up.
You got to come back for it, so Michael's going to be on you.
No, yeah, well,
He might mean
you know.
twin tube.
Twin
Monotube
tube.
and twin tube shock, not twin wall.
A monotube is a type of shock absorber that uses a single tube to contain oil, gas, and a piston valve. Monotube shocks are often used in race cars and off-road vehicles because they provide better performance and control. And what was the other one?
Twin tube.
Twin wall.
Tube.
He
Twin
said
tube
twin
versus
wall, but
monotube.
it might be twin tube.
A twin wall just comes up with roofing stuff. The main difference between twin tube and monotube shock absorbers is the number of tubes they have. Who would have thought?
Nah, you wouldn't have guessed it by the name.
Couldn't have
guessed
told
it.
you that one myself. Twin tube, more prone to aeration and fading. Most can only be installed in one position.
Twin tube couldn't be the same as twin wall though, because twin wall is very specific.
Yeah.
To say twin wall, would have to be
monotube,
like
twin,
an
a monotube,
extra
twin
casing.
walled. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Unless
anyway.
the twin tube is a tube on the outside of another tube.
I don't want Michael to come after me, so I'm gonna leave this one over to you to do your research. Anyway, that's us.
I might know a guy that I'll call.
You know
Find out.
heaps of guys, eh? Happy with that, Jaden?
Yeah.
We got to get.
Yeah.
I forgot my
Ronny
on the
out.
radar as well, but I'll bring it in next time.
I reckon that's a good one to save. I reckon
Oh yeah,
that's
yeah,
that is a good. That's a good one. Very good one.
All right.
All right, we're done here. Looks like we are. Four Drive Podcast, powered by Tyrepower, Southern River Band. Let it ride. See us out, the Four Drive Podcast on Instagram. Episodes over on BackChat's YouTube. And again, thank you to our Patreon. Stick around. I've got 2 minutes for you. Merch, voice messages, and Ultimate Four-Wheel Drive. The fourdrivepodcast.com.au. Catch you next time.
We're going to get a monotube pogo stick and a twin wall pogo stick for the next show, and we'll see what the difference is.